to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast that makes you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with...
Elizabeth Helly.
And...
Tyler Gage.
Tyler Gage back in the house. Oh shit, we got a special guest tonight on the dance floor. It's Tyler Gage. Quick, get the trampolines out. Okay. We're talking about Step Up to the Streets.
Step Up to the Streets.
Which, hold on, I was going to say, I heard the director on the Blu-ray just say, Step Up to the Streets. Just like that.
But it's got a colon in a lot of places.
He's the fucking director. Okay?
A lot of things have colons in a lot of places.
That's true. I think we talked a little bit last week about what the streets possibly could be, and I don't think any of us thought that it was like a thing, like a proper noun.
Okay, that's one of the things that got me so disappointed about this movie right off the bat is that the streets is the dance competition.
Yeah, it's not the street. Like,
okay. All right, let's hold off on that. Okay. People still need to see the trailer.
Sorry.
You guys, Jesus. Okay, let's...
Spoiler alert, there's a street in this movie.
They hang out on one particular street the entire film. Okay, why don't we, let people see what the movie's about?
or here.
Just watch the trailer.
Step up to the trailer.
Are you ready to step up?
Look who's all grown up now.
Hey, watch yourself.
Stop. Stop! Please wear appropriate attire in my class.
So he's a player?
We're like an all-star.
Morning, sunshine.
So what's your deal? Boy band's making a comeback?
Ooh.
She doesn't have what it takes.
Turn.
You just put your spit all over me.
There's a lot going on here under the radar. I think it's time we form a crew and compete at the streets. Trust me.
The Streets is about the best dance crews showing off what they've got.
I like it. Careful, Andy West. I might just give you a compliment.
You realize those competitions are illegal.
Let's do this.
Okay, so now people know it's about the streets. I was going to say this, the whole movie for me felt like some sort of weird, like, Abbott Costello thing where it's like, every time they talk about the streets, they're like, the streets is, or the streets are.
Yeah.
What street? Yeah.
Well, it starts with this.
The streets isn't about where you're from.
The streets is a dance competition.
It's about what you do with where you're from.
The streets is what cars drive on. You're not from the streets. I'm from the street.
Anytime they said the streets is, I was like, my ears. I can't.
So it starts with a very over-sentimental, like, when my mom showed me the streets.
She said, look down at the streets.
It's archival footage of, like, people breakdancing. And, like, you don't know who's talking or why it's happening, but it's just talking about the streets change lives.
I think they're
Is
actually...
the streets real, by the way?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, the dance contest. Like,
I don't know. Obviously, the
We
streets...
don't need roads.
The streets exist. I think also those were probably MySpace videos. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
They reference MySpace several times in both the special features and the actual movie itself. The main character Chase says to someone's grandma, like, "Hey, hit me up on MySpace sometime."
Special thanks, Tom.
Tom. Oh my God. I forgot all about Tom.
He's still there. He's stuck inside that.
He's stuck in
image.
MySpace. That's right. He never ages. It's
always looking
It's
back.
a modern-day portrait of Dorian Gray.
Always looking back on the good old days.
Every single time someone logs in and looks at his page, he loses.
Okay, so
That's why he tanked MySpace.
We've got Andy. Andy is the main character.
Hold on. Trust me, we want to hear more about this than this movie.
Ooh. Andy.
So, Andy, her mom passed away, and she now lives with her mom's best friend and her son.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a foster situation, but not really.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. Yeah. And it turns out she somehow knows Tyler Gage.
That's
From
right.
the streets. From the old neighborhood.
Yeah.
Wait, from the from the competition in the streets?
I don't know.
Or
Probably
did they
both
grow up,
streets.
Or did they grow up on the same street?
I think they were neighbors, though, for
Yeah,
real. Because
I think they were.
He said that he used to watch her when she was like a little toddler, and
run
also
around.
her surrogate mom knew him as well.
Right. So
She could have danced in the streets, as we saw in that opening dance prank, I guess.
Oh God!
Oh yeah, the movie opens on this weird like subway dance prank.
Like a really, really trying really hard viral video flash mob
So like
type.
it
thing.
starts as the thing that everyone hates when they're riding the train. Someone's about to perform.
Yeah.
And a guy
Yeah.
in a mask busts out drumsticks, and you're like, oh fuck, here
There's,
we go.
there's like this old white guy who's
Yeah.
like about to have 5 heart attacks
And they're-
because of
and-
all the black people.
and
there.
they're cutting around to like, oh my god, like the people you see on the train. There's a woman with a baby, and there's a nurse, and it's like, oh, these people are gonna be annoyed by this performance, but fake out. That's not a baby, and she throws it, and she's part of the dance crew.
The baby has a mask.
It's actually a giant block of cheese.
Yeah, the nurse also part of the dance crew.
Yeah.
So the entire train is basically part of the dance crew.
Except for the one old white guy.
Yeah, I did like that part where they're like totally harassing this lady, and she's like, "No, get off me, and then she like turns around and has a mask on.
Yeah, like
And thank God, because
She's, like,
otherwise that was
popping-
like almost a rape.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, they're wearing weird like Phantom of the Opera Jabberwockies masks.
yeah, wannabe Jabberwockies.
They're all painted up like with
Yeah.
war paint.
And then so then we get to see the tag for the 410, which is their dance crew.
Yeah,
It's a gang. It's a unit.
is that like the area code for?
Probably.
Baltimore
I don't know. It's some bullshit.
But
Like,
I mean,
where
it's
does
like
that number
they're a
come from?
dance crew, but they're also kind of like a gang because they put like really like they did graffiti in the subway.
Yeah.
The whole dance was to distract all the police and the guards, officers in the train, so that the other guy could go and do the graffiti.
I mean, yeah, and Andy's mom straight up is like, "Those people are criminals," or something. I don't know if it was her mom, but maybe a friend of hers or something was like, "No, wait, all her friends were in the 410, so it must have been her mom."
410 is the area code for Baltimore.
Got it. But yeah, they're totally criminals. They beat the crap out of that guy later on in the movie too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they beat the crap out of him and they demolish the school.
yeah. Again,
Yeah.
how many times is that school gonna get demolished?
At least it wasn't the theater stuff this
same
time.
theater.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so getting back to all of this. So Andy is doesn't get caught for this dance prank, but like the lady who's taking care of her knows what she's up to and is not going to
Saw it on the news, local news, which people
And she was like, I knew
still
you were there.
And I'm sending you to Texas.
And I'm sending you to Texas, which I was like, oh, like she's going to learn line dancing. But
Oh no! God, maybe we never get to a sequel where that happens.
up 6.
get in line.
Get in line.
Texas Hold'em, yeah. Get in
some-
line.
Oh.
That's terrible.
That's probably step up to the line.
I see it.
So, but basically what happens is Tyler Gage shows up at some club. They bust out trampolines.
The Dragon Club.
Yeah.
Tyler Gage, you guys. Channing Tatum
Channing
is
Tatum.
back.
He is in this movie.
Yeah.
Sorta. For a little bit.
But like it's like the best part of the movie.
Yeah. He does the classic, like, passing the torch thing.
Yes.
Where he just comes in to be like, hey, stop being a stupid kid and join the
So
school.
if he
And
beats
goes,
her in a
"Bye."
dance battle, she has to go to the Maryland School for the Arts, MSA, as we know it as. And they do a dance battle, and because Tyler Gage is such a big star, they decide to break out the trampolines that are built into the dance floor. And it was actually pretty cool.
I thought that was hilarious. They
yeah.
just like pull off these panels on the floor.
They don't necessarily do anything cool with the trampoline.
It's okay.
He hangs his shirt on the
Yeah, so then the best part at the very end, he jumps up, hooks his shirt on like a hook or something that's in the balcony, and then falls out of his shirt, so now he's only wearing a tank top.
Yeah,
like,
and then everyone's like, let me touch him.
and he totally was wearing like the really baggy clothes that we made fun of him for wearing in the first movie. His shirt, his long sleeve white shirt, was so baggy that at the beginning of his dance, he did a curtsy with it. Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
And we learned that
Get the fattest guy you know. Get his shirt.
get his shirt. Yeah. We learn during that whole scene too that him and Nora are on tour.
They're on tour, and he dances like this weird dance. Like I don't know what they're on tour doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Touring,
But they live in New
Touring?
York together, and now they're going on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So we get a little bit of a continuation of their story before we jump back into
What was this? Like, there was a song at the Dragon when they bunched up the trampoline. It was like tramp, tramp, trampoline.
Really?
Wait, was
Like
it
the
really
song-
like that?
No, no, but I think the song does sing about trampolines.
Oh my god.
Trampoline.
So he
I think it's like trampoline.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
because she loses the dance battle to Tyler, she now has to audition for MSA, and Tyler also sweet talks her guardian into letting her stay and get into MSA or whatever. And he's basically just comes in and he's like her fairy dance mother. He just like takes care of everything and then flies away.
Yeah.
So if she goes to the school, she can stay in Baltimore and in the 410 because that is her priority.
Right.
So she goes to her audition, right? And this is like the quintessential scene. It starts with like somebody doing like some really hoity-toity ballet. It's like somebody in a classic tutu type thing.
Yeah.
And it is more of the streets versus the classical than the entire first movie.
Yeah.
I was
In
like,
this
well, how
one
did
scene.
this school regress since? Because like the old director was kind of cool with it. Like even when Nora did her dance, it wasn't like classical. It was definitely like jazz, modern stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now they're like, oh, everything that's not ballet is bad. It's like, when did this happen? Like,
I guess you could go into saying like, since they give the backstory about how the Collinses like own the high school, you could say like maybe they didn't like that change and they like pulled some board member bullshit and like took over the school.
Yeah, they got rid of the
You're
old
reading
director.
too far into it because
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because like, one
that's
of
how
the
you
things
could explain it.
that would explain like the dance department because like one of the love interest's older brother is like the new like head of the dance ward.
Yeah, and he's like, he was in the Royal Ballet, but was somehow disgraced. We don't really know why they allude to it, and he comes back.
Maybe we'll find out in 3.
But it's kind of interesting because the actor, Will Kemp, who plays this principal guy, and by the way, he's
so
probably
awful.
not a bad actor, but he just didn't care about this.
so awful
Yeah,
in
like
this
he's
film.
been in other things, but you could tell that he was just so wooden every time he had a line.
I was like looking at his eyes. I'm like, is he reading off like the script right there? I don't know.
I just cursorily glanced at his IMDb because I didn't want to see too much about spoilers for the rest of the series. But like most of the thing he's credited for otherwise is just dancer.
Yeah,
Like,
so he actually trained at the Royal Ballet like as a youth for many years, but then when it was time for him to graduate, they didn't hire him, and so it was like a big awful thing. And so he ended up going on the tour with Matthew Bourne, who is a big ballet person. I don't know if
maybe
you guys
this
know.
movie just cut too close.
Yeah, and so he ended up starring in Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake, which was like a big deal, and it was an all-male Swan Lake. But I actually saw it at the Amundsen, so I may have seen this guy.
Oh, dang.
If he did the national tour after. But so yeah, it's kind of weird that they like took almost some of his backstory and gave it to the character.
Yeah. He was just always like, I will not have my students competing in the streets.
Yeah.
We will not have that kind of
So
dancing
he
here.
probably should just dance.
And yeah, the weird thing about this movie is I think that through that, it seems like they took care to hire actual dancers, but I think the actual dancing in this movie is bad.
I don't know. I think some of the dancing is pretty good, but I do kind of like don't really care much for any of it until the very end.
Yeah, no, I think the end sequence is good, but like when she's like there's times where she's in class and she's like improvise, like you dance, and it looks like she's just
Well, that's because that was supposed to look stupid.
yeah, she looks real dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I laughed at that because it's like she clearly can't.
Yeah, I think
dance to something slow.
in the first movie, we were kind of, at least I was kind of surprised how the good dancing was kind of spread out throughout the movie, and the end was just kind of like, okay, this is more traditional, where it's just like, these little dance montages throughout, and then the end is a huge, spectacular, all of a sudden there's extra special effects and extra people, we don't even know where all this came from, and like, and it's more of what you would expect for a big finale.
I was kind of like the whole movie, like, this movie is not good. But then, like, the dance sequence at the end really kind of
around,
makes it worth watching.
Yeah, the dance sequence at the end is awesome, but I also love that they're at the streets and then they take the battle to the streets. They go outside. Let's go where this started. The streets.
Lowercase, the streets.
Let's take
Not
the
the
streets to
streets.
the streets.
The streets TM. Yeah.
So she doesn't fit into the school. She meets this nerdy guy named Moose.
Moose, like this intro scene is very, very strange.
Is weird.
They do not have the same location. Like, it's a really even, like, everything about the choice of going back to Maryland School of the Arts of, like, that's a good idea on paper, but there's nothing to execute it. There's nothing that makes it the same school at all.
The front was the same, maybe the entryway.
Yes, the exterior.
And maybe the big rehearsal hall, I thought was the
that
same.
looked like the same place,
Yeah.
Where he was, like, fixing the light for 7 hours.
I lost my train of thought.
You were going to say that all the other shots are not the same location.
Oh, yeah. It's not the same place, but it's... Why are these kids being forced? Like the dance crew they put together is all these different misfits that like aren't allowed. He's like, yeah, like this kid that she meets is like, I can dance, but
I'm in lighting.
And it's like, doesn't this like? Didn't Channing Tatum say this school was the answer? Like, wasn't that the whole point of this last movie? That
now they're being pigeonholed into particular arts.
That's right. Yeah. I don't really like Moose.
Moose is introduced.
I get a feeling that he's like a fan favorite, but I was like, this kid is annoying as fuck. But at least he can dance.
I thought he was okay.
He gets introduced by eating a hot dog, and he has mustard all over his face, going, "It tastes so good, like candy canes at Christmas."
I know. He's like, tofu dogs are both nutritious and delicious. I was like, oh god, shut up.
So he becomes like her friend, basically. I don't know, like he's immediately friend zoned.
It's really strange because there's the love interest who is the little brother of
the principal or the director.
The director, his name is Chase, and like they're doing like they meet, and Moose is immediately like, "Don't lead her on." And it's like, you met her yesterday, dude.
He's like, I know who's hooking up with who's.
Yeah, he knows everything about this school.
And yeah, Chase is Mr. Popular.
I agree, Justin. Moose is annoying.
Yeah. I have a note in here like that. I said it's hurting me physically to watch this kid. I don't know. Just like
I didn't mind this.
The way he talked, I don't know. It was annoying to me.
I'm almost glad they never. I thought for sure it was going to be that he had a crush on her or he was in love with Andy, but it never went that way. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, he's just super nerdy sidekick guy.
Yep,
which is so fun. Such a unique take.
So basically, it's a theme that they bring back from the first movie is that Dee is splitting her time between Maryland School of the Arts and her hood friends.
The streets.
No, the 410.
Okay.
Not the streets.
Well, I was referring to like the actual streets.
The actual streets.
Not the place.
Oh, I see.
Lowercase streets.
Lowercase streets. So her friend's covering for her, and she kind of has a thing with the head of the other dance crew,
Yeah, it
Tuck.
seems like Tuck was like, they were either dating or almost dating or something like that.
Because every time they hang out, he's like, "You coming over later tonight?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just got stuff to do."
And then she doesn't.
And then she doesn't. So, but it seems like that they had a thing at one time. But basically, she gets in trouble because she sucks at dancing so much, classically, or slow. Or, in my opinion, at all.
No, she was good dancer. She was good dancer. She was good dancer.
No, she was good dancer. He bad dancer.
No, he no dance.
Tuck bad dance.
So yeah, he actually makes her like do basics for some reason.
Yeah, and so she has to be held after class and do special workshops with him, which cuts into her time with the 410. And the first time that you're at the 410, he's like, "We're doing rehearsals. Like it's the first rule of dance club is no cell phones." Like he doesn't want them taking calls because
that's every rehearsal.
This
She
competition
gets like a
is
text
so
message
serious.
and that Tuck guy's like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!"
They're like, and they're also like at a skate park and nobody's rehearsing. Like everyone's just kind of milling about.
Was it supposed to be that they were like? We never saw them like kiss or anything, but were they supposed to be like dating? Because
I think so. Yeah,
he was always like, "You coming over tonight?"
Yeah,
but she never seemed like she was even into him at all.
No. I guess maybe I just like mistrust all male characters because I also thought that the director was like gonna creep on her in these private lessons, like especially the first one where he was fixing her sickle feet or whatever. I was like, oh no, don't let it happen. But
he also just
happen.
has that look to him.
It just didn't happen. I was pleasantly surprised.
Like a real wooden robot.
I'm a real boy.
It's those soulless eyes.
Yeah. He always plays one of the Nutcracker soldiers.
Yeah.
So at some point, she gets kicked out, of the 410.
410.
Yeah,
Yeah,
410. Because, she
which is kind of bullshit because they make it seem like the original like dance prank where they like fuck up a subway. Not a sandwich, like the actual subway. Dude, I could fuck up a 6-foot party stuff. Like they make it seem like that she planned it or choreographed it at least.
was heavily involved.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then so she's missing a couple things, but like the whole reason that she's going to Maryland School of the Arts, which she made clear to them, is that she was going to get sent home.
Or sent to Texas.
Sent to Texas, yeah.
So she has to go.
So she has to go to stay there, and so she's doing that.
Well, also it appears that none of the rest of them go to school at all.
Right.
Like, because I guess when she went to regular public school, she just skipped it all the time to do the dance.
Well, no, we know from the previous movie that Channing Tatum, like the regular school, gets out at 11:30 or something like that.
So Channing Tatum can make it for his janitorial duties.
There was also like a hilarious line when her godmother or whoever is saying like, you have to go to school, you're gonna have to actually go there and do homework, and she's like, Mom, I can't.
No, she's like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, she's like, I can't do it. I just can't not skip class. It's part of my life.
So basically, when she gets kicked out, like the 410 becomes the rival dance squad here. They become the bad guys. They're like the Cobra Guys.
Yeah, it was like she had 2 female friends, and one of them all of a sudden just becomes like straight up evil, and the other one kind of decides
and that does not work for me in this movie. Like she's friends with everybody there. Like ostensibly, Tuck is her boyfriend, and then she's like, "You've missed 3 practices. Like fuck you. Like you're out." And then the whole crew walks away from her.
Yeah. It's just more of that high school bullshit from the first movie.
So,
it's like the first thing that happens that's wrong.
No, Chase. Chase decides to help her create a new crew of all the misfits from MSA.
Right.
Yeah. We get a lovely Ocean's 11 style.
Yeah.
Like,
There's some dude tap dancing.
We got, it's like, first up, we've got Monster. He's a freaking monster.
He's the stunt man for stage plays, and just shows him like in like a shitty Hamlet scene, and he's breakdancing for
like
some
dodging.
reason.
Yeah.
There's a girl who pretty much doesn't speak English at all, and they constantly bring that up. Like, that's her main characteristic.
Her name is Keto.
And then we got Harry Shum Jr. from Glee, and I'm not sure what his thing was. He was called Cable.
He was like another stereotypical Asian guy where it's like, he does all the...
Was the video yearbook stuff?
Yeah, he was good at like internet stuff or something.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember the rest. That was it.
We got Smiles.
Yeah, Smiles.
He has bad teeth.
And then Moose.
Yeah. And
Hot
there's
dog
one
boy.
named Fly as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wrote them all down.
The one thing that I do like about this is that, like, like all these weirdos and misfits, like, it's like no one in the school thinks they can dance. But the thing that it does kind of show is, like, it's not all these beautiful, chiseled people. It's like some of these people are weirdos. That, like, that's the there's the people who are in hip hop dancing. It's fun.
Chase is like, he's talking about Smiles, and he's like, he's the nicest guy to ever meet, but the dopest dancer on the dance floor.
But
the dopest dancer.
Okay. So, and also right when they put the crew together, they also get Missy, who is the Latina friend from the 411.
Apparently her only actual friend, I think.
Which in the first half of the movie, it really made it seem like she was better friends with the other girl, and this girl was kind of just there.
Yeah.
But then this is the girl that has a change of heart and is like, I'm quitting and I'm going to join you guys.
So they did have a couple scenes. Every time she was getting yelled at, they showed Missy looking like, what? This isn't right.
Yeah, so before that happens, they gotta get their ragtag crew together, and then they're like, we're gonna go like test out our skills.
Oh yeah.
And they go get humiliated.
Yeah.
They get fucking humiliated.
Yeah.
They try to do like a boy band thing, but it's really not even like very well choreographed.
It's really bad dancing.
They're not in
like
sync.
the rest of this movie.
That was I love that scene because they get booed off the stage, and then the whole scene before that, you see that like the guys in the 410 and the girls are wearing these like awesome looking suits, and I was like, dang, they're gonna have a cool like suit dance or something and be all proper. And then like as soon as they get booed off, then the 410 takes over, and the first thing they do before they even start dancing
is rip off their suit.
Yeah, rip the suits off, like tearaway suits. And I'm like, what? They just wore those suits just to look cool for 2 seconds?
And one of my favorite things about this, I think it's the same MSA graduate who was like, guys, Tyler's back. And he's like, yeah! There's somebody at the end, he goes, you guys are terrible. No. He goes, you're garbage.
Whoa. Yikes.
I peeked the microphone on that because I actually
So then we're introduced to a concept that in order to declare that you are competing in the streets, you need to do a prank and then make a viral YouTube video of it.
Yeah, you have to do it and upload it to the internet.
Which I guess was what they were doing at the beginning of the movie.
Right, that's what I assumed.
So then the MSA crew has to do one too.
Yeah.
Her prank was kind of funny.
It was pretty good, yeah. They basically just stood behind Tuck and danced without him noticing.
Although it escalates.
Yeah.
I was like, I liked it because I was like, this is totally the kind of thing like a bunch of high schoolers would think of.
Yeah.
Like, let's just joke around and do a...
Yeah, it looks like an iMovie like special.
Yeah, it looks like
that.
an early
It was all videos
video
of just Tuck, but then like zoomed in on his face and you could see they were like behind him dancing and like making fun of it. And then he'd turn around, they'd all freeze like mannequins.
And then they break into his house.
Yeah. Well, because so there's a scene. There's a scene right before they show
some straight up B&E.
Yeah, there's a scene right before they show the prank video where it's like them hanging out at Tuck's house, and he walks in and he's like, "Yo, why's my crib smell like Funyuns, broccoli, and ball sweat?" And then they're like, "Bro, you gotta like come look at this. Look at this video." And then we see what
they've broken into his house and hid fish in his heating vents.
I know,
but there's like videos of them like dancing in his bedroom, and it's like, this is fucking terrifying. Like, this is too far, high school kids.
They didn't break anything though. They just picked the lock, I think. Like,
I was like, whoa, they like went into his house. I was like, damn, okay. Prank, I guess.
So he is pissed off.
Yeah.
Time. And then we don't address it, and they all go to a barbecue at Missy's house with their Hispanic family.
Was it Missy's house or was it Dom's house?
They did a barbecue. I didn't see any,
like Dom's.
I didn't see any Coronas.
I didn't see the Corona. Well, the adults were having the Coronas.
No.
Dom was in the back. The kids are having fun out back.
It really becomes like a situation where all these white and hip hop kids come in, and then they're like, "Oh, we can all Latin dance now because we're here with this close family."
Let's do the salsa.
And so they're all salsa-ing. Oh, and then also Chase's ex-girlfriend,
but they're back
decides
together.
to come. Are they back together?
That's what Moose says. Is like they're back together at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't
All
think
right.
they ever got back together.
Well, she is. Yeah, I didn't either. But she's suspicious of Andy, so she decides to insert herself into the barbecue.
She basically invites herself.
Yeah, so this is played by Cassie, who is basically our pop star that we've shoehorned into the movie, much like Mario in the first movie.
I didn't even realize this.
Yeah, she had one really big hit called Me and You, and she's known for being like a Diddy protege, and then also like being Diddy's girlfriend on and off, like from 2006 to now.
But I listened to that. I didn't recognize that song.
You didn't recognize it, really?
No.
Oh, I totally.
But it was only one song, and it was number 3 in the charts.
It was a pretty big song.
Not number 1.
Yeah, but you might recognize it.
Third best. Third best.
So yeah, she's
just like the MSA crew.
They do mention in the beginning of the movie, Moose, when he's talking about everybody, he says she's a triple threat because she can dance, sing, and act. But just like, spoiler alert, we never get to see her do any of those things.
Yeah.
She does a little awkward salsa with Moose for like 2 seconds, and she never sings or acts or dances. So, well, no, I mean,
she's not acting in this movie.
But
You're
she's
right.
not acting. Her character is not acting.
Well, that's funny. So, just for a little Blu-ray check-in, they had actually cut out a bunch of her scenes, which I don't know if it was because she
that
sucked
makes
at
sense.
acting.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's a
For time.
Yeah, I don't know if we got to it yet, but there's a stereotypical sad song montage where everyone's like, "I'm sad," and they're all sitting around.
They're
being
not going to
sad.
let us dance.
And originally in
We're
the
never
film,
going to win the streets.
yeah, originally they had put in a song where like the guy who wrote the song was playing the piano and Cassie was singing the song, and they were having her sing it, but they said it kind of, and they have it on the special features, and it said it was like kind of felt too much like a music video, so they cut it out, and now her song for the film just plays for 2 seconds in the end credits.
Aww.
But also, she had more of a part towards the end. She's the one who turns them into Collins as having been the ones who caused the break-in and the dance studio destruction.
That wouldn't have worked.
Well, yeah. And then she has this whole scene where she apologizes to Andy.
That's a good change.
Stupid. Yeah.
All right. Well.
So
anyways,
so
that's Cassie.
So the 410 crew, in their retaliation to the fish hiding prank, they're like, yeah, let's go fuck up those kids' school.
Yeah.
And so they go full Tyler Gage and ruin the
They're
dance
way
studio.
worse than Tyler Gage because they graffiti everything too. Like they break it all and graffiti it, and then they beat the crap out of this guy Chase, like the main love interest,
as he's walking his way home from the barbecue.
Yeah, really violently. Like, and honestly, this is what I thought was going to happen to what was his name in the last movie?
Skinny.
That's what I thought it was going to be, and then they straight up shot him. But this time, they actually just beat him up like you'd expect from a PG-13 movie.
Right.
So. Yeah.
The streets.
And then because of the vandalism, the director says they cannot perform at the streets.
We can't have the streets in our classical ballet town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you're all going to get suspended.
This school ain't big enough for the both of us.
So the whole way that the streets doesn't exist in a single place, and the only way you know it's happening is that you all get a text on your T-Mobile Sidekick immediately the night of the streets, and then you got to put everything together and immediately arrive.
The streets
So
are
the streets
everywhere.
ends up being the same day as this big fundraiser for the school to have a new building.
Which is super fucked up. Oh yeah, so this is a plan that they're going through of like part of the reason that they're refining is that they try to justify it with like MSA is trying to get this fancy new building.
Yeah.
And so what's his face is trying to make a very classical like Met Gala to attract donors, where all the kids are fucking waiters.
No,
apparently.
some of the kids are dancing. Like the white ones, like Chase, are dancing, but Harry Shrum Jr. and the other black people are like walking around with like trays of sandwiches.
Because also they
champagne.
were, those students were not part of the dance company technically
fine.
at that point. So
what are they volunteering, or does everybody at the school have to volunteer?
I think
at this
everybody
fundraiser?
at the school has to volunteer because it wasn't just for the dance; it was like entire school, brand new school.
The kids are making gruel.
Yeah.
Valet parking
There's probably
cars,
people
scrubbing.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Were they hospitality majors? Is that what like this way here? Put on a fucking vest and carry some faux gras.
Look, everyone needs to start out as an usher, so
So yeah, I mean,
can't do it.
Where does it say that? Everyone must be an usher.
Start at the bottom as an usher.
by the way, when you guys, when the T-Mobile Sidekick was a big deal, like, was it a thing in your area that only black people and cool Asians had it?
No.
Oh, okay. Did people actually have that at your schools?
Absolutely.
I don't really recall.
Okay, so in Southern California, only like black people and cool Asians could, like, cool Asians that were into hip hop dance. Those are the only people that could have a T-Mobile Sidekick. So the fact that Andy has one.
Was this a T-Mobile policy?
No.
That you would
ostensibly no.
Wait. Can you prove that you're a cool Asian?
But seriously, like.
Yeah, I can see you're Asian, but are you cool?
For some reason, that's just how it always worked out. And like. So the fact that Andy had the sidekick in this movie, I was like, oh, that shows me she's really like with it, you know, like she definitely,
she's part of the
like,
crew.
yeah, she's definitely in the hip hop world because she's got that T-Mobile sidekick.
That's so funny. I don't know if I knew anyone that had that phone.
Nick Snow had that phone.
Oh, that makes sense.
I shouldn't use full names.
Some guy, I can beep it out.
Yeah.
So the streets are happening tonight.
So Chase gathers everyone because they've all had a change of heart when they got the text for some reason.
Right.
And then they all go to Sarah's house, or Sarah is her guardian. They all go to Andy's house and they make a big speech about how she's their leader and they need her and blah, blah, blah. And Sarah hears and is like, oh, you know what? Just go. Like, so.
Well, she hears how inspiring her daughter has been.
It's such a waste of a scene where like they all go there like, can she come out and play?
Yeah.
Like, can she come to the streets with us? And she's like, your mom. Basically, it's like, your mom would be proud.
She'd want you to do
They're
this.
like, we just want to say hi to Fräulein Maria.
Go to the streets.
You go to the street. It's the streets.
Get it right.
Get it tight.
So yeah, they got everyone together. At some point, Moose and Cassie tell the principal where they all went, and so they convince him to go see it.
Why didn't Moose go with them?
Yeah, I
I think
like
he was doing the lighting for the
Yeah, but they
stage
all
show.
leave at the same time. So I was
Yeah.
like, I thought the same thing. I was like, why is Moose still there?
There.
He's there just to be like, I know where everyone is.
Yeah, and be
Follow
like,
me.
you need to come see the artistry and what your students are really doing and blah, blah, blah.
We'll use the streets to get to the streets. I'll drive.
So they all go, and of course the Jabberwockies are performing because they're so hot right now.
Yeah.
In 2008, they
2008.
literally just won America's Next Best Dance Crew. Or
So
whatever.
we've never seen the MSA crew dance well to this point.
Right.
And then so
Except when they were
so-
salsa dancing.
Yeah, so it's like now we're at the streets and like here are all these professional hip hop dance crews.
Yeah.
Like it's it's like all the dancing like, oh, finally someone's dancing in this movie.
Yeah. They're all dancing to Flow Rider.
Yeah.
I swear they played that song like "Low" by Flow Rider
Apple
like,
Bottom Jeans.
a million times in this
They do.
movie.
The fur.
It's a great song, though. Great song.
It's a really good song. So, then 410 does their dance, and it's like, whatever.
They dance to some ludicrous song.
Yeah, and then the DJ that we've seen, I guess he's the only DJ in
DJ
Baltimore.
Sand.
Yeah, DJ Sand's the only DJ in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And because he was at the club, he was
Right.
at the other club.
He's like the
and
guy
that-
who runs the streets.
Yeah. And he calls the competition over because
They're not
Well,
really
because
in
everyone
it.
knows that the MSA crew sucks. So.
yeah, and 410 is you know they
They're
have
the reigning
best-
champs.
They already beat Jabberwockies, so like what
right.
what can happen? Five years in a row, 410 has won, and so then she gets up there and decides. I think they basically end the competition. There's no ceremony or anything like that. I think it's just like, all right, let's like get on the dance floor. Like they won. Like yeah.
I did like how she gets up there to start making her inspirational speech, and it takes like 3 times to quiet everyone down because everyone's just like, shut up, and they all just like keep dancing.
hey,
and like,
guys,
we don't
shush,
care.
shush,
We're not
and-
doing this.
And
Like,
she, I shit you not, says, "We call this a battle, but what are we fighting for?"
She does. We have this thing we do called dance.
She gives the most asinine bullshit, like, oh my god, it's just like, we forgot what this is all about. It's not about crowning the same moves. Like, we're gonna take this out, but like, if you want to just give it to 410 to do what they always do, fine. My crew's gonna be out on the streets where this started.
and then all of a sudden, it starts pouring rain.
All of a sudden, everybody in there goes, yeah, she's right. Yeah, let's go out. Streets. And so they go outside, and it is a Category 5 typhoon.
And they danced it in the streets. It was really weird. I was not expecting that. Everyone around the world.
And so they do this insane, like, 10-minute long.
It is really cool. It's finally the finale that
Yeah.
we've all been
You know,
waiting for.
It is awesome.
They,
I
for
was
some
like-
reason, have Star Wars Emperor Palpatine lightning coming out of their hands. I don't know how, and I don't know how they didn't get electrocuted, and it was not ever introduced to us earlier. But they had that, and then everyone's just like soaking wet, and their clothes and hair are spinning around, and water's flying everywhere.
Yeah, and they're
and
like kicking water at the camera. It looked really
it
awesome.
was cool.
It's really, really
And
cool.
I was like watching it, and I'm like, yeah, during it, I'm like, man, their routine is like 2 times longer than
Yeah.
the 410. Of course they're gonna win. They did way more shit.
yeah, like, they basically just like, wasn't that a nice movie? Here's a great dance sequence.
Okay, we know that this is all we showed in the trailer, so
Oh, yeah.
this is what you waited for.
And so they win, and then Moose ends up with Cassie, and
for some reason.
She now makes out with Moose for some reason.
Yep.
And then the director
there
has
is
a
no
change
reason.
of heart. He has a change of heart.
He literally is like, because she got expelled at some point.
Yeah.
and he literally goes, "I'll see you in class on Monday." And then he doesn't even say, like, "I have to go apologize to my brother."
Also, you guys, you have to also remember that during this entire final scene, it's still raining.
Yeah.
They could have been like, "Oh, the rain stopped," but instead it's like, "Let's keep it raining during all
It would
these
have been
dramatic."
great if the rain stopped and the sun had like slowly come out.
I mean, maybe that would have been even
so much
more
rain.
silly, but-
It's like it's puddling.
Yeah.
This was nightmarish to shoot.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure, yeah.
There's so many extras, so the whole background is just people going nuts, and everybody's soaking wet, and there's just buckets of water coming out. And if it's anything like a music video, and shooting a dance routine has to be so grueling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It takes-
oh my
like
God.
it had to be a week of just being soaking
At night,
wet.
because it was actually outside, right? Or what do you think it was?
It could have been
inside?
staged, but
Okay.
I'm
I think
not
it
sure.
was outside, but
Yeah.
they said in the special features too, like there's a scene where the guy who plays Chase is like, it's like having like 10 extra pounds on your body all the time.
I don't like that was the most amazing part of the dancing in the rain is that you're like, oh my god, because even the spins and everything, it's a totally different like equilibrium that you have to do, and obviously they didn't rehearse it that way. So
and it has like an entirely different look from like it's so polished,
Right.
like it looks completely different from the entire.
It's like
movie.
I have the Blu-ray, and on the cover they're all wet, and I'm like, man, they're getting really sweaty in this movie. And I'm like, oh, now, okay, I get it.
yeah, I was wondering when something like either sweaty or wet was going to happen because the cover image is that. But.
Yeah. And so the movie ends with like out of nowhere this horrible cheesy like Romeo and Juliet romantic score as like swells, and it's like as like Chase and Andy kiss.
You sounded like you just opened a treasure chest in Zelda.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, why? There was no score like this the whole
aggressively.
film. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just like this crazy romantic score as they kiss and then fade to black.
So, did these two actors get married in real life?
No, I looked. I was wondering. I was like, oh, hey, did people did these guys get together? No, they're still single as far as I can tell.
Way to ruin it.
Sorry.
No, I meant them too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, way to go. Why didn't you guys ship up like the Tatums?
So,
Sequel wise, this is weird to me. Like, I feel like it actually does some things that are interesting.
I thought it wasn't that bad. Like, I did like her, like, as the character, I guess. I did like her character.
You were right in terms of it's going to be a girl bringing a dude down to the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, someone was eerily close to
to
how this movie was
You gotta
going to be.
switch it. It's like High School Musical, the first
There's
one.
there's even a scene like I thought about this too. There's
We
a
didn't
scene,
even talk about Chase that much. Like but like he's fucking boring. So
there's a scene right towards the beginning where Andy and her two girlfriends, just like Tyler and his two guy friends, show up at the school, and they're like ogling the guys, like, damn, like there's some cool guys that go here. And I was like, this is just like the last movie.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing.
But like bringing back Channing Tatum, that was
That was great.
It was
great
a
that
fun
they got
way
him
do
to
it.
be
I wasn't
there,
expecting that.
Yeah, it was, and like when he's
God.
when he's in the club, someone's like, "Oh shit, it's Tyler Gage."
Well, I guess I wasn't expecting it to be like them building some sort of
Mythology.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Like,
wasn't expecting
that
it to
Nick
be.
Fury was going to show up. And he's
Yeah.
like,
I was not
It's
expecting
called
it to
the
be the
Dancing
same.
Initiative.
Tyler Gage will return.
Yeah, as soon as I was like, oh, it's still in Baltimore. Awesome. And then it's like, oh, they're at the same school. Really cool.
Yeah.
They're at the same school. Really cool. I don't know what I'm saying. And then, I just thought that was unexpected.
Yeah, I think
For this type
I
of
think-
movie, it
I
could have
think
been
that
anything.
I was saying at the end of Step Up, I was like, I don't see how they can make another movie.
Right.
And I think that of rebooting all new characters, they did a good job of telling a different story, knowing what the genre is. I imagine it's more like Save the Last Dance.
No, you can't touch the greatness of that one, but it's more the typical beats of a dance movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I've had a lot of feedback since that Step Up episode. Everyone's horrified that you guys haven't seen Save the Last Dance.
It's fine. We'll get to it someday.
Oh God. All right, so
We're saving it.
Robert Hoffman, who played Chase, he was on the new 90210, and he's known for being in She's the Man. But I recognized him. Sadly, I actually recognized him, and then I looked it up on IMDb, and he's one of the featured dancers in From Justin to Kelly, my favorite movie. I actually recognized him from that. Sadly,
That's messed up. I'll beep that out in a later.
no, how dare you?
Is it how do you feel about this? I think this is our most USC vested series so far because Jen Dewan and this director is a USC film graduate.
John Chu?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, and probably more to come. But yeah, I thought some of the things were like kind of like downgraded. Like, for example, instead of Mario, who has several hits, we get Cassie, who has literally one hit. And then like
I
in
had
the
no idea.
first
I was
movie,
like, she must not be a very good actress. She's not in this movie very much.
Yeah, but she gets like third billing in the credits.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, what?
She's Danny's girlfriend. Okay, you're not gonna mess with that. Okay, and then we get this
she
guy.
can drink all the Ciroc she wants.
Adam G. Savani, who plays Moose. He was known for being in Missy Elliott videos and JCPenney commercials with Allison Stoner, who is the much more famous and better person that was in the first movie, the kid, his sister. So yeah, and then I did one child star check-in on
who
Charlie, the little kid that lived her caretaker's son.
Oh, I'm like,
his name
wait,
is.
who? Yeah, wait, where was there a child?
I know, right? I was nervous there weren't going to be any, but it's this guy.
There's no children in this movie.
What am I going to do?
No children.
His name's Amar Wooten, and he's still in the business. He's on Liv and Maddie and American Housewife on ABC, and then he's going to be one of the main characters in an upcoming Nickelodeon show called Night Squad, which is like a wizard high school.
Oh God.
KNIGT?
Yes.
Oh.
Night Squad.
Knight Squad.
Good night, Squad.
And also, the other fun fact is that this movie was the Teen Choice Award winner for Choice Movie Drama of that year.
Oh, boy.
That's not the only award it won that year, too. I don't know if you guys saw. It was also nominated and won for the MTV Movie Awards Best Kiss of 2008.
Oh, it's that over aggressive one that made me uncomfortable.
The ending one? That's what it was.
Yeah, the ending one. You want to know what they beat out?
Yeah.
Here's who else was nominated. 2008 MTV Movie Awards Best Kiss. Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey in Uncharted. Enchanted.
Oddly, that could be an Uncharted cast.
Oh, terrible. Shia LaBeouf and Sarah Raymer in Disturbia.
What? Who is that?
Shia LaBeouf?
I know who Shia LaBeouf is.
She was obviously the girl in DJ Caruso's Disturbia.
I never saw it.
Sarah Raymer? I don't know. She's in...
DJ Caruso's in Director
Ellen Page and Michael Cera in Juno.
Uh-huh.
And Daniel Radcliffe and Katie Lang in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Cho Chang?
I think so.
Oh, God. No
That's
wonder
why-
they won.
I know. I was like,
stupid.
Okay, first of all, I heard that they won, and I was like, what?
Okay, Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey are old, and also she's asleep. Okay, Shia LaBeouf, what? Okay, what was
Those are
it?
some
Harry
bad-
Potter? The whole point is that him and Cho Chang didn't belong together, and it wasn't great.
I think the Juno kiss is the orange Tic Tac kiss.
Those are some really bad...
Which is, at least I remember that.
Yeah, I guess. There's some pretty bad nominees, though.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't a great year for kissing.
Although I have no idea what those nominees look like year to year.
Yeah, well, in case you're
the
wondering...
most famous one is Cruel Intentions.
I was like, in case you're wondering, Twilight won for the next 4 years after that. So...
I never want to wonder anything again.
That's all you need to know, you guys. Oh, God. I have some other fun facts from the Blu-ray special features.
Blu-ray.
If you guys are interested.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick. Couple things. Originally in the script, Moose was supposed to be an overweight African-American nerdy kid.
But then John Chu saw JCPenney commercial and he was like, I gotta get that's
exactly.
my Moose.
He's like, that's
my Moose.
That's Moose. That's Moose. And Moose actually had a bit of a different story. He got there's a whole scene where he gets in a fight with Andy and they're not friends for half the movie.
Oh.
And originally at the end of the movie, he was supposed to kiss Missy and not
Who's
Cassie.
Missy? Oh, Missy's the Latina friend. Okay.
who joins the crew later.
Yeah.
And apparently he was supposed to kiss Missy all throughout. So maybe at the very end, apparently what happened was the director
Cassie's lawyer saw the cut and they're like, she needs more screen
the director
time.
was like, I mean, obviously he would kiss Cassie. Why wouldn't he kiss?
Well, they were dancing together at the barbecue too.
Yeah, and he said he's like okay, what's his name? Adam Savani?
Adam, yeah.
He's like, Adam, maybe if you do the scenes right for the next week, I'll switch the scene to be you kissing Cassie. Which is what. So apparently he just changed it at the last minute. You get to kiss the cuter girl.
Oh God.
And apparently their first kiss on screen is their first kiss ever. That's why.
In life, both of them.
Yeah, they didn't rehearse.
Oh, she already going out with
not
Diddy.
in life, but together.
Oh.
They didn't practice or anything. It was just
I see. I was like,
Wait,
what?
she's like a 16-year-old girl in this movie, right?
In the movie, but she was older, I think.
Yeah, I don't.
Gross Diddy. Cut it out.
The other really funny thing, the director John Chu gives his inspiration for the rain sequence at the end. He said he was visiting friends in San Diego who had just had a baby. And the baby was crying and peeing everywhere. And then he said, all that liquid flying through the air made me think, we should do a rain dance sequence.
Oh my God.
That's pretty, I thought that was really funny.
How? Okay.
You're like, all right.
Cool, John.
So just think that, next time you watch it, think about it being pee falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Not vomit. He said crying.
He said liquids.
Okay, liquids. Yeah, that's true. But that's pretty much all I got. There's just there were 22 minutes of deleted scenes.
So how many? Oh my God, do you have a rating scale for this?
I don't know.
What? I'm trying to think of what a dumb. How many streets would you give this movie?
Yeah.
How many T-Mobile sidekicks?
There you go. There you go.
How many T-Mobile sidekicks would you give?
I'm going to give it 4 T-Mobile sidekicks being held by cool Asians. Because I actually was going to give this one a lot lower until the final scene.
Yeah.
Like I had mentioned, the dance sequence at the end in the rain. Just like the water adds such a crazy dynamic to everything, and it just looks like...
Yep.
It looks like there's an extension to all their movements with the water. It's just really cool.
I would say 5 T-Mobile sidekicks. I didn't think it was that bad of a follow-up. Like, the dude was forgettable, but I thought that the girl, Andy... Sorry, what is the actress's name?
I think it's Brianna Evigan.
Brianna Evigan, yeah. She was actually... I liked her acting and her character. So
I'm going to give it 3 T-Mobile 2 sidekicks.
Oh.
But they're it's a 3. I didn't like most of this movie.
Well, I said that too, but
Yeah.
the dancing, I think the dancing throughout is pretty good, and then the final scene is just
I think that knowing the beats and knowing how the first one it's the streets, it's classical, to kind of relapse on that theme while doing some of the others. I think as a sequel it's pretty good, but also ignoring some of the things that the first one did well, and it just kind of made me mad. But I did really like the last dance sequence.
You know who wasn't mad about this movie? Audiences. It made a lot of money, you guys. Not as much as the first one, but just missed it by about, I don't know, $7,000 or $7 million.
Jabberwockies put butts in seats, man.
Yeah.
I think, like, in pop culture, it's become one of the, like, well-known sequel names that people make fun of all the time. You know,
it is our generation's...
It's right up there with Electric
2.
Boogaloo.
Yeah. Breakin' 2, like another dance movie. Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, or Too Fast, Too Furious. That would be another one that people make fun of all the time. But To the Streets became a thing.
We should say too that To the Streets.
The Legend of Curly's Gold.
That we should say that they also with this movie, they really upped the ante on the soundtrack for this one, I think.
There's a Breaking Benjamin song in there.
That's not what I mean. Like the last film, I think they had a bunch of original songs, and none of them are like super memorable from the original film. I don't think, right? They weren't like huge hits, at least.
Yeah.
This one, the soundtrack was released on Atlantic, and they were like not debuting, but had a really huge partnership with Flo Rida for the song "Low," which we already talked about.
Yep.
And I think there's just a bunch of other songs on here, like on the soundtrack, that are just super popular. And the reason I bring it up is because we're going to have a special guest on this episode as well. Friend of the show, Megan Goldstein, is going to be doing a little interview here with me. She did a bunch of the clearances on the show, on the film, for
Music
all the
clearances,
music.
yeah.
The music clearances. So she's going to give a little bit of insight, and you might hear that right now. All right, I'm here with Megan Goldstein, who has graced us with her presence here on our podcast. Our first guest.
Hi, Justin. So delighted to be your first guest.
Pretty exciting. She's a friend of the show, and also at the time of Step Up to the Streets was working at Warner Music Group. Is that correct?
I was indeed in 2008.
What were you doing there?
I was pretty new. I had started in 2007, fresh out of grad school, and basically this was my first big project that I had to kind of do on my own. So it's a memorable one for me.
Cool. So how did you end up working on Step Up 2? So you had just started there and they put you on this
I had
big
been there
project?
like about a year.
Okay.
And I was looking to kind of do bigger things. And I also think that this one promised to be a difficult and laborious project. So probably whoever was supposed to be handling it in the order of things wanted to get it off their plate. Also because the soundtrack was going to be released on Atlantic, which it was, and which means we were basically trying to fill the film with a lot of priorities, which is just always a messy process.
So Flowrida is on Atlantic, right?
Indeed, Justin. Flowrida is.
Because I don't know if you've seen the movie recently, but that song Low is all over it.
And as you know, Justin, that was a huge song at the time.
That's right.
It's actually funny when I looked up the list to see what had been licensed, just to refresh my memory. And I know this is true intellectually. I no longer work at Warner, but the list of songs that were licensed for the film, it really is like, there's a huge number of these that were hugely like big priorities and licensed at the time. And now I really don't think anyone is talking or caring about them, which is just kind of, it's interesting.
Like what, for example?
Well, like the Kevin Michael song, the Coop song. Sorry, do you want titles? The Kevin Michael song, We All Want the Same Thing, which is earlier in the film. The Coop song, Whenever There's You, that album was like recent then, and it was kind of a push. The Laura Isabor was kind of a big push at the time. The song, which is also in that film. Pretty Ricky, like that doesn't get licensed a lot. And then, of course, there's like the big hits, like Digital Underground gets in there.
Yeah, I mean, basically the main thing that people are going to remember from the movie is the Flowrida song, right?
Yeah, which was like kind of the, I don't know, not the most memorable one, I guess.
Yeah.
It was kind of a given. But I can tell you that this file, the number of songs that were in it, I don't know, it's huge. I can't even count them right now looking at it. But we were definitely not paperless at Warner at the time. And I lugged this giant paper file. I swear it weighed close to 20 pounds. From like office to contracts to licensing.
Oh, man.
It was pretty insane. Pretty ridiculous,
So
actually.
did you work directly with Buck Damon, who's the music supervisor on the film at all?
I'm sure we did, but I know that he wasn't I didn't work with him super closely, to be honest, because of the nature of the soundtrack deal and because looking at this list of what we were licensing, Kevin Weaver, I think his title is president of West Coast of Atlantic.
Wow.
I don't know what his title was at the time.
Yeah.
But he had his hands in this very much so. So I was basically working with Atlantic, and we were simultaneously trying to get the soundtrack off the ground and to be a big success as well.
So you not only cleared the songs or helped to, clear the songs for use in the film, did you also work on the actual soundtrack release that came out?
Yes. In fact, funny you should ask, Justin.
Wow.
I believe this might have been like the first album where I was thanked in the credits on the soundtrack.
Congratulations.
It was a big deal, Justin, I have to say.
I mean, that's pretty huge. So you listeners out there right now, if you go to Sam Goody, I'm kidding, those don't exist. You go to your local Goodwill and find a used CD of Step Up 2, you can find Megan Goldstein's name
in the tiny, tiny print somewhere in the label copy.
Send us a photo. I want to see it. That's great.
It was just great. It was this, I remember this film, and then a little bit later, the Notorious B.I.G. film. These two like stick out as really time-intensive, crazy projects with huge soundtracks attached to them. I should have looked at the stats on how the soundtrack did. You don't happen to know, do you?
I don't. I don't get the sound scan reports or whatever those are called.
I just wonder if all the work ends up paying off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Flowrida song was a huge hit, but I don't know. It was probably.
But
a hit
it wasn't
before.
because of this movie.
Yeah, it was a hit before that.
I feel like that was more of a gift for the film, and the rest of the stuff that people don't necessarily know now were more of.
Yeah.
We were trying to get them in the film and or on the soundtrack.
Right. Outside
of the Digital Underground, which stands out as also being just old, and it was a pretty featured use, right? That was the video, the viral video that they have of the dance.
Oh yeah.
To introduce the new crew with the dead fish.
Oh
the
right.
Digital Underground
That's
use.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not. Most of the stuff in the film isn't that old.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular that you remembered being super difficult to clear? People giving you a hard time? Sending you death threats? I'm kidding.
Sending me death threats. No, well,
Did Missy
I would
Elliott
say,
get angry at you or anything?
No, although I actually find Missy Elliott pretty pretty fun to work with.
Oh, nice.
No, I don't think I have a good answer for you there, Justin.
No, that's all right.
Sorry about that.
Just hoping that maybe there was some crazy thing. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Did you work on? So I think Atlantic continued at least to put out Step Up 3. Maybe did you happen to work on that one at all?
I believe I did, though I have to tell you, Step Up to the Streets is the one that really sticks in my mind as being a memorable experience. Although, that being said, it's not like I'm giving you a huge number of amazing stories here.
Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, I think we did. And I think we also released a soundtrack for it as well, which means this one must have done pretty well or we wouldn't have done a third.
There's yet another Flowrider song on that one, which I think was actually released as a single. But
What was it? Do you remember?
Club Can't Handle Me Right Now.
What a jam.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was going to sing it, and then I realized we were recording, and it was a really bad idea for me to start singing it.
Dude, we sing on the podcast all the time. Or at least I do. I don't know.
That you're saying that you think that was released with the film.
I think so, yeah.
I don't think that was the case for Get Low. What if I'm wrong?
No, I think we looked it up. It was 2007 that it came out.
Yeah. I feel like
and
it
then
was
this movie
before.
came out pretty early, 2008.
Yeah.
The music video, at least, is tied to Step Up 2.
I mean, you mean the Flowrider music video?
Yeah, the Flowrider music video.
Well, then there must have been a big push with that song.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, is there anything else?
Nope, that's all I got for you.
Cool. Thanks, Megan. Well, we appreciate your time here, and thanks for coming to Sequel Rights.
Thank you, Sequel Rights.
Thanks, Megan.
So informative.
You all for listening this week. We hope you enjoyed Step Up 2, The Streets. What do we got next? The next movie's called what?
Step Up 3D.
In the third dimension. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh my god, I'm excited about that. I think it could be cool in 3D, but we'll see.
I don't think I'll be watching in 3D, but I bet I wish I did.
Where do you think the series goes from here? Like, I mean,
total reboot. I feel like that, or maybe she goes to Texas. I'm still thinking stepping up to the line. Step up to the line.
Like, yeah,
Texas hoedown.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it's not going to matter at all because all that's going to have is a bunch of cheap 3D tricks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I would think
Tricksy
that it
3Ds.
doesn't continue any of the characters, but I also thought that last time and I was wrong, so I don't know. I really, it's really hard to say.
Maybe we see. Maybe it brings back Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan. They're on tour.
That would be cool.
That'd be sick.
That'd be cool if they like popped in every
Yeah.
iteration of the
They're
film.
like, oh, like Carnegie Hall. Who's playing? Tyler Gage.
Look, they just had a baby and
Yo
it already dances.
Yo Man, Tyler Gage,
The baby dances.
Ally McBeal.
Step up to the cradle.
Yeah, to grave.
Step up to the grave.
All right, well that's gonna we're gonna cut this bullshit off right now.
Hey, follow us on social media. Twitter and Instagram at Sequel Rights, and then Facebook.com/Sequel Rights.
And
And please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes and everywhere else that you listen to the podcast. We
that'd be
really appreciate
super
it.
great. And I'd just like to give a quick thank you to my brother Jordan for the music at the top. And again, another thanks to Megan Goldstein for giving us her time.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Shawty had them bottom jeans with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, shawty got low. Them baggy slack pants and the Reeboks with the strap. She turned around and gave that big booty a slap. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, shawty got low. I ain't never seen nothing that'll make me go this crazy all night spinning my dough. Had $1 million vibe in the body to go. Them birthday cakes, they stole the show. So sexual, she was flexible, professional, drinking Xano. Hold up, wait a minute, do I see what I think I will? Did a thing I seen, sure they get low. Ain't the same when it's up that close. Make it rain, I'm making it snow. With the pole, I got the bang roll. I'ma say that I prefer them no clothes. I'm into that, all of women exposed. She threw it back at me, I gave her more. Cash ain't a problem, I know where it goes. She had them bottom jeans with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, shawty got low. Them baggy slack pants and the Reeboks with the strap. She turned around and gave that big booty a slap. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, shawty got low. Hey, shawty, what I gotta do to get you home? My jeans Hands full of guap and they ready for shows. Got a Lex Maybach for the sexy grown. Patron on the rocks that'll make you moan. 1 step, come on. 2 steps, come on. 3 steps, come on. Now that's $3 grand. What you think I'm playing? Baby girl, I'm the man. I've been a rubber band. That's what I told her.